Pre-order Destiny Rise of Iron and get the Iron Gallarhorn.
Rob, you've been having a tough time with a certain game the last few days, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Halo 5. No, just kidding. RIVE.
RIVE, yeah.
RIVE. The last game from Two Tribes, the developer, about a year or two ago.
Tokitori 1
Yeah.
and 2.
And they essentially just announced their early retirement from game development. They said, essentially, they called themselves dinosaurs in the blog, and they said that there's just too many things to keep up with. They've been developing games since 2000, and they can't really keep up with Twitch and just like this explosion of indie games that like there's the market's flooded. Or this is what they were. I'm paraphrasing.
Well,
but.
I guess I'm like making this gesture. I talked to them back during GDC, and they actually wanted to make it very clear this isn't like a we can't keep up kind of thing. Like that's not the basis of it. What's really driving their new direction to back out is they told me that they've kind of accomplished what they set out to do. Like they've figured out, okay, these are the games we want to make. We figured out how to make them, and RIVE is sort of like their game, the thing they've been working towards this whole time, both like develop the skills and development and business and all of that. So yeah, I think it's partially like that, but I think it's got more to do with like, those aren't the challenges they set out to accomplish. Developing cool games is what they set out to accomplish, and they feel like they've done it at this point.
Cool. Well, I guess that's admirable. I think a lot of developers probably, I'm not a developer, but you hear like horror stories about crunch and development and like how a lot of people just like get in that cycle and don't know how to get out of that hamster wheel, I guess. So that's good on them for doing that. Yeah. Now RIVE is out.
It's out today.
Out today. You've been playing it, Rob? You said
I
it's
have been.
Pretty tough.
I go back and forth with how I feel about the difficulty. Like on one hand, I think it's a hard ass game, and the other, the game actually makes me feel this way. And I'll get into that, but I feel like I'm a loser and I suck at video games. Because just to explain that further, is this game is crazy. I'm not. This is not my type of style of game necessarily. Kind of like that Contra, fast moving, always be shooting. So there are moments where like I had to learn. Okay, you can't stay still. You got to always move. But this game will beat you up like a Dark Souls game. Like you will enter a room and it's just like, oh, lava's coming out. What are you gonna do? You got half a second to figure it out. You're constantly dying, and every time you die, there's a new message that pops up, and it says stuff like "wrecked" with the K, or like "you suck." Literally, like "you suck."
It makes it personal.
I felt like I had a roller coaster of a time. First, I was like, "This is way too hard." And then when those messages actually, I became a fan of, because
it's like tough love, right?
Yeah, like it's beating you down, and the only thing you can do is climb out of it, or you quit the game and you walk away like a coward. So they're like my best moments or favorite moments in this game were when I'm talking like 12 deaths, 20 deaths, cannot get past this one part. There was even a message, and I don't know if this is because the build we had was a little interesting. I'm pretty sure this was in the game, but a menu came up and it's like, oh, like you wanted to turn down the difficulty to like fuzzy wuzzy mode or something like that, and it wouldn't let me click it, so I had to click hard and keep going. And then if
it's just baiting you to
it's just bait. It's so it's
be
like
weak.
It's kind of fun in that respect. So yeah, again, like eventually I was legitimately mad and kicked ass on that fume. And was able to get out of those situations many of times, and it just felt like a real intentional part of the game. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to move around. Now, having played a few hours last night, it wasn't dying so constantly that got me burnout, but it was more or less kind of like what was happening in the later half of the game, where like, it's like mission 6 or 5, and it's like, oh, they're throwing you into the same map, but now it's 0G. Okay.
Yeah, just artificially inflating it.
Yeah, and just to also clarify for people who don't know about the game, there's like 3 kind of more or less. What's nice is they keep turning off and on mechanics of the game, but generally it's like you have your asteroid-esque side-scrolling type of game, and then it's like a walk around, kind of go through different corridors and stuff, and then it's like an underwater 0G type stuff. But anyways, they throw those in back and forth. But it's like, man, when I'm repeating the same map or level design, but now it's in 0G, I'm not getting much out of that. That plus the character of the game. Peter, we saw this actually at PAX East a few years ago, and this did not have this narrative character.
I mean, it was like a compact demo they had, but yeah, I mean, what you described to me is something that's kind of new to me.
Yeah, it's just this character who I couldn't remember his name, so I tried looking it up. And
Protagonist?
yes, he's actually the character inside your bot, your like thing that you control.
Okay.
And his name is like literally it's like Snake Pilot. Like he doesn't even have like an actual name. Anyways, he's just like a Stallone guy that's always like talking and everything, basically giving the story beats. However, for me, I'm just not a big fan of it when a game is like making fun of like the video game industry, and it's like, oh man. There's one I was like, oh man, these first-person shooter guys don't have this perspective. Like, this is way cooler. Or
Wait, what's wrong with that?
It's just, oh look, it's like an asteroids game. And it's like, this game is cool and visually appealing to me. I'd rather have no story and just kind of immerse myself in. There's also a side antagonist robot that's kind of luring you around. It'd be cool just to have that. He could just lure you around. That's fine. That's all I need. I want to feel like a little, like, I want to have questions, but this guy he's just constantly talking, and it's something I wish I could just literally turn off. And that was just kind of overwhelming and just getting me annoyed with the game toward the end. Or I didn't beat it, but like towards my last play.
To go back to gameplay for a second, does the difficulty ramp up, or are you pretty much just thrown into the fire right away?
You're thrown in the fire pretty quick. You start off, again, I should mention that. So you have your main gun right here, which is always on. That's like your sole means of like survival. And then as the game progresses, you get unlocks, you get armor upgrades via bolts that are gathered from enemies. And so you get different types of weapons, shotgun, missiles, and stuff like that.
You get to hack robots as well that like help
that's
you.
Right. Yeah. You get to hack like health robots or even turret robots to like aid you. I'm sorry, what was your question again?
I was curious if the difficulty, you said the difficulty like throws you into the fire right away.
Yeah.
I'm asking because I played it at PAX Prime last year. And I think it was an earlier mission, but I was telling Pete, I looked up a gameplay video because I didn't think I had played RIVE yet. And I was like, oh my God, I have played this game. And it was I think PAX did, might have been like the Xbox indie program. Forget the name of it's escaping me right now. But I did Xbox, thank you, myself. But it didn't seem that hard. I was playing an earlier mission, and I think it was just a lot slower paced than what I've seen here. And you were describing it to me as like a Contra bullet hell platformer. So I'm sure they were going for difficulty the whole time. Maybe I just didn't play enough of it to get that sense. Because looking at these gameplay videos, it clearly looks very frantic and difficult.
It is. So let me paint you a picture. There are some moments in this game where they cleverly introduce elements that affect your mobility. So the mobility factor is huge because you get just an onslaught of drones who are just trying to run you out of the fucking world. They're just waves, constant waves, and you have to keep avoiding and keep shooting as you are trying to avoid them. But then a robot will show up, and he'll just be dropping crates randomly. Now there are stacks and crates that I have to jump over that keep basically changing the level formation. That like I have a harder time jumping over these crates, and then more and more robots come. So it definitely builds and builds. And that particular level with the lava, like those running lava balls keep happening. Toward the end of like his health the boss's health is like toward the end, like those things will just keep coming faster and faster. So yes, it like, I don't know what you played, but like each moment, especially boss fights, definitely pick up, and that's where I typically die, is right in the end of that stretch. I feel like that's very much like a Dark Souls thing too, right? Like the guy will just start throwing you. He'll mutate or
people
start
were
throwing
waiting for Dark Souls-esque.
Yeah. I mean, I actually never played.
I wasn't going to say it.
I never played really any Dark Souls, but like hearing you guys talk about it and like the feelings and seeing it, on streams and stuff, it reminded me of that and the frustration factor. And you will die in this game a lot.
All right, interesting. I'm always down for a difficult game. Kind of been not having my fill of those lately, except for maybe Record. That got kind of difficult when I was playing it. We'll talk about that soon. But anyway, that's RIVE. It's out now on PS4 and PC. And so that's the last game from Two Tribes developers. That's their swan song.